Hello everyone, I'm Yusuf from Techno. This class we're going to be talking about two-dimensional arrays. So what is the difference between arrays and two-dimensional arrays? So basically the biggest difference is arrays are, do you remember how we talked about arrays about like they're boxes? Like it's a box and then we split it up and we put values inside the arrays. So just like that we have more than one arrays inside two-dimensional array. Let me show you what I mean. So how you write a two-dimensional array is basically really similar with arrays. So we write int array, actually let's say 2D array, and we can't say 2D array, okay, let's say 2D dimension, let's just say array equals, so in normal array we put only one square brackets, right? In two-dimensional arrays we put two square brackets, and we say new int, and as you may see it gives me that option, and I click enter. So now I have to put a value for it. So this is a basic way. If you do it this way, you're not going to be putting any values. It's going to be 0 in the null. So we have to put a length for it. So let's say 2 and let's say 3. So I made these different to show you the same exact thing that I will do right now. So this is one way to declare an array, and this is another way. Do you remember how we did it? We say array, and then we said, we said it like this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a way to initialize an array, right? So just like that, we're going to be doing for two-dimensional arrays. So I'll say array 2, and then put another square bracket, and then now you see, let me actually do it this way. Now you see I have one array now, and then I can put another. I say putting an array, but it's not actually an array. So when we write it like this, this opens up the array, this opens up there, this array, this is the first square bracket, and inside is the second square bracket. So if I want to put more than one arrays, I put this. So now I will put 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I can put 1, 2. So now if I want to call, let's actually say 5, 6, so they're different. So if I want to call 6, let's move on easily. If I want to call 1, what do I do? So I have to first say array 2, and then put the square brackets, and then first give which array is it. So this is, as we do it in the arrays indexes, it's 0 and 1. So this is 0 and this is 1. If I want to call 1, it's in 0th array. So the first is 0 and 0, 1, 2, 3. Which one is it? It's this one. So I have to put 0 again. And if I print this, it's going to get inside the first 0th indexes arrays 0th elements. As you see 1. What if I want to get 6? So let's check it out. This is 0 and this is 1. So if this is 1, I have to change this to 1, and if this is 1, I have to still change this to 1. And if I run this, it's going to give me 6. So two-dimensional arrays lengths may be different if you don't put it this way. If you put it this way, what this does is array. Let me show you what this exactly is. So let's say int array, and then let me do it the same exact way that I did this array 2. So it says there are 2 arrays in here, and I'm going to put 2. And you see these are not indexes, so it will work. If these were indexes, then I had to put 3 arrays, but I don't have to because these are not indexes, these are lengths. So now what I did here, let me change these actually to zeros, because the array is 0 right now. It has 0 values. So what I did here is exactly the same duplicate of this. This array right now has 2 arrays inside of it, and they each have 3 elements. They both have 3 elements, and their element number are 0. The values are 0. If you want, let's check it, and let's see if I did it right. So let's say 1 to 1, and plus, let's put right space to it, array, and 1, Since we didn't fill any values this array, we just declared it an empty. It has always it has all zeros. If it was a string, it would have always null. See, this is the first arrays, this, and this from the second array. So there are two ways of declaring it, as we saw in the arrays. This is one way to declare it, and this is another way to declare it. So if you do it this way, you just set up a fixed length for arrays, and you don't change it. In here, you also don't change it, but you don't put a fixed value. Let's say you put values here, 3 values, and then you decide to take one out. Then you would just like do this. In here, you have to do this too. If you do this, then this array changes too. So you have to change this too, if they are duplicate. So there are ways to print this array. Do you remember how we printed an array here? There are several ways. One is an for loop, and the other is for each loop. So in here, if we want to print out an array, if you think logically, we will be doing here. Let me show you. So the most common way to print out a two-dimensional array is using for loops, of course. So I will say for I, and so do you remember how we did here? Array length, example 2.length, right? Now, as we do in the same thing, we have two arrays here. One is this, and second is this. If we say array 2.length, what is this array going to be doing? It's going to be taking the length of this. But if this changes here, see, this has 4 and this has 2 elements. What if this changes? Then what we do is we put another for loop, and now we call it j, and then we say array 2, and then we say I dot length. So let's think logically here, guys. This gets the length of how many arrays inside of the two-dimensional array. This gets inside those arrays how many values are there. So if we say system.println array 2 and I and j, because I is for the first array and second array, this j is for the inside of it. So if this was the case, let's see. This is going to be 0, and it's going to be talking about this array. And here, array 2 0 dot length 1 2 3 4, and it's going to write 4 here. And for this, the second turn, I is going to be 1, and array 2 1 dot length. So 1 2, it's going to write 2 here. It depends. That's why we use for loops. We can't put fixed numbers. If it was like here, if it was a fixed array, we could have done it that way. But using these arrays, it's always better to use for I and for j loops, and it's this simple. Since this is print line, it's going to be doing always the under, but I can do it this way. So if you say, as we do always, it's going to be putting space and system.println, just an empty system.println to go out of lines. Actually, let me show you what I mean. If we do it like this, it's going to be 1 2 3 4 5. We're not going to be able to see the array separation. If you want to separate it, see, do you remember this is the array's numbers, right? After the first array, if we want it to just skip a line, we write system.println. This line skips a line, and then we run the code, and then it skips a line after 0. I want to do the same exact example that we did in the array, like adding all the values inside of one variable and then printing it out. So let's do it. I want to put more values here as well. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it will all be different. So this prints it out every time, right? What if we say, let's put a value here first, int sum equals 0. And then say sum plus equals, right? Because sum plus equals means sum equals sum plus blah blah blah. And what blah 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 is here, array 2 I j. So now it will get these values one by one, First, it's going to get 0. So 0, j is going to be 1. 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, sorry, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 3. And then it's going to be over, and I can delete this. And then I will be 1. 1, 0, this. 1, 1, this. And then, is there any more number here? No. So it's going to come to other for loop. I is going to be 2. 2, 0 here. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, and 2, 5. And then at the end, we want to print out our sum. And if we print it out, it's going to give us 78. Well, that's it from two-dimensional arrays, guys. We'll see you in the next class.